you got offered to work on a project written by AI, would you do it? No. No, absolutely not. If it was written entirely by AI, hell no. I would just quit the industry at that point. If it came to a point that writers were gone and that AI wasn't writing the stories that we're getting, I would not only stop working in the industry, but I would stop watching stuff. That's when YouTube and Twitch could really take over, because I would be like, I want to see a human be a human, you know? If there is a writer, like a unionized WGA writer, putting their human experience into a piece of AI that churns out something, that they are able to use it as a tool to write their story, then it starts to get a little murky. I'm interpreting the question as, would I work on something that is entirely AI created? They will use AI and they will say, here's what this successful show from this successful piece of IP looked like, churn out something else that looks just like that, and the AI will do that. No, I don't want that.
As of this morning, more than 11,000 TV and movie writers, they're on strike, halting multiple productions and possibly delaying new seasons of some of your favorite shows. For that last big strike in 2007, it left a mark. It cost roughly $2.1 billion after that strike lasted 100 days.
They're proposals that would have protected writers, that would have made sure that when we're not just employed by the day, but by the week and by the month, that we can build a stable life in Los Angeles or New York where we live. We are fighting for a stable life like all workers.
That's the big thing that we've kind of been talking about. Is by and large, this is something that's taking place across our workforce, like everywhere. This is just sort of the corporate greed versus employees. And I think that it's great that they're doing it, because so many other people might be able to follow suit soon.
So I'd point out the fact that David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, which is, the parent company of the network I'm talking to you on right now, was paid $250 million last year.
Did you hear that?
That's about the same level as what 10,000 writers are asking him to pay all of us collectively, all right? It's ridiculous for them to plead poverty. I literally know writers who have had to go on assistance because they have not been able to make their...
We talked about that last week, right? With the writer from The Bear that went to the WGA Awards with a negative bank balance and had to use credit to buy a bow tie to attend the event. Like, writers are not being paid well to make these studios and these networks billions of dollars. And so yeah, that's just sort of catching guys up on like what's going on. They're gonna have to find a middle ground, right? And I think they're far away from it right now. A lot of the news that's been coming out this week, we got this one. David Zaslav here is the person that Adam Conover brought up in that interview. He was on CNBC and had this to say: a love for the business and a love for working is what will bring people back. So basically, because we love to work, we'll get back to working. I think that like that's just not good messaging. He said a proper resolution will be done in a way that makes the writers feel they are valued, which they are, and compensated fairly, and then off we go. It's just interesting because he says that writers should feel valued and that they should get paid fairly and that, a deal should be made. But it's clear that studios, at least at the time, are prepared to do pretty much the opposite of everything that the writers are asking for. For weeks, multiple studios and streamers have been planning to use AI to generate scripts based on books and other IP that is in the public domain. And the writer of this report said, I'm reliably told that nearly every studio has already explored this possibility, and that should those plans come to fruition over the weeks and likely months to come, the studios plan to hire writers to rewrite the scripts once the strike is over. That is, of course, a major sticking point in these negotiations, as WGA is insistent that AI not be used to create any literary material whatsoever. Scary, so scary that they would be like, well, we don't have any writers around because they're striking. Let's just hire the AI to do it. And then when the writers come back, they can fix up the mess. They're not saying keep AI out of television and film entirely, but just like it should be treated in every single workforce, it is a tool and not a means to replace jobs. We shouldn't be cutting jobs because AI is now available. It should be offered to the writers to do their jobs in whatever way they see fit. The other bit of news that came out, the workers that are writers but also do something else, i.e. showrunners or writer-directors or writer-producers, studios have sent out memos to them saying that they are required to continue to work on their non-writing duties. There are certain tasks that some of these producers that are also writers can probably do, but if it involves any form of writing, they shouldn't be doing them. And that's where there seems to be some sort of disconnect, because if you go read the WGA strike rules, there are things that they list that studios are saying you should continue to do those things. You may, along with other non-writing services, be required to perform services commonly referred to as A through H services as a producer. A through H services include cutting for time. All shows are given a total running time that they have to be under. So if they film everything, cut everything, and say it is 65 minutes, but the requirement is that it be under 60 minutes, they have to find a way to cut for time, and that could require the writer to choose scenes to remove from that episode. That is technically changing the script. That is technically, per the WGA, something that they should not be doing, but that studios say you should be doing. Other people can do that job. What the studio is saying is that it's a job for producers and you are acting as a producer, so you should still do that thing. A through H duties are specifically defined in the guild contract as writing services and therefore constitute struck work that guild members are prohibited from doing during a work stoppage. That's just kind of another way of showing how far apart they are. I hope that they get closer and that they can start to work these things out. It's good that the strike is happening, but it's, kind of scary that they're so far apart, because it could just become a little bit messier. And if it gets worse before it gets better, then we start seeing more production shut down. We see a lot less on TV. And then reality television really takes over. So that's, we don't want that. Other question that I get asked a lot is, am I being affected? And no, I am not in the immediate, mainly because I am not currently working on any project. If I was, I would likely still be working right now, up until the point that I could no longer work. I would continue to do my duties, probably undisturbed, and nobody would really pay too much mind to it because I'm not in a union. And the studio, if I just didn't show up to work, could just fire me. If a production got shut down while shooting because Teamsters didn't choose to cross the picket line, so production didn't happen, and then I didn't have footage to work with, then my job might just get shut down. One thing that I had said previously that I would like to alter a little bit, but one thing that I said previously is that writers don't want to take away work from other people, which is true up to a point. Again, I will say right now that I'm unemployed currently, so I don't have to worry about this. But people like me that do not have a union, that work on these productions, they do have to continue to show up for their job. And the WGA is in no way going to stop them from doing so. There are workers in other unions that do have some protections if they're affiliated with union that can protect them from getting fired or for standing up for their, their legal right to not cross a picket line. Then, they just want to put it in their mind of maybe you reconsider crossing this picket line. SAG-AFTRA, the actors union, actually has advised their member to continue to work. SAG-AFTRA sent out a memo to all their union employees and said, if you're contracted to work on a project that continues production while the WGA is on strike, you are legally obligated to continue working by your personal services agreement and the no strike clause in your collective bargaining agreements. This no strike clause, it's a deal with the studio to say during the length of our collective bargaining agreement between ourselves and the studio, we're not allowed to do like a sympathy strike or just strike out of nowhere. We have to wait until the end of our contract. Now, notably, SAG is very close to having to renegotiate their contracts, as well as the DGA, the Directors Guild. So those could be coming up soon and be going through sort of the same rigmarole here. So again, like the WGA is probably not going to really go after them as much. They're still going to sort of make them reconsider their decision to cross the picket line. There are other unions that are like strong unions. You don't fuck with them. They give a shit about being a union. IATSE, the Teamsters, they also have a no strike clause in their contract, but their leaders have told their members that their contract gives them the legal right to honor the WGA's picket lines if it comes to that. And that is where it's getting kind of interesting. Outside of halting the productions that they were working on, if they were in the middle of writing, the other way that they can sort of have this impact are these picket lines that cause Teamsters to have to make the decision of crossing the picket line or not. And that could shut down a production. And it's already started to happen.
This is a shoot for a Marvel show. We heard about it. We are walking back and forth here in order to stop set up a picket line that the Teamster trucks won't cross either in or out. We think what's going to happen is that the trucks are not going to come out and they're going to have to leave them here overnight and they're going to lose a day because they can't move them to their next location.
For it to be constituted as a picket line, it just needs to be two. Just two members need to show up for it to be a picket line. In New York City, there were 3 gentlemen who decided to picket outside of, I think it might have been another Marvel production. I'm not 100% sure, but they shut it down. The Teamsters all said, I'm not crossing that. There's 3 dudes standing there with picket signs, and it's kind of wild. It's cool that they're making stuff happen. When they shut down a production like that, they are costing a studio hundreds of thousands of dollars. One day getting nixed messes up a lot. That's why the number from that CNN video earlier today of the $2.1 billion for that 2007-2008 writer strike is gonna happen again, and it's probably gonna be a lot bigger because there's so many productions happening at this point, especially compared to back then. You can support the efforts that are going on. There's a fund to be able to support industry workers that are impacted by the strike or are just financially struggling. This includes a lot of people that are not unionized that are going to lose out on work because of productions being halted. You can come here, you can go to that link. Entertainment Community Fund has a fund where you can donate to. If you're sitting around thinking like, damn, I really want this to work out, and I also don't want to see people suffer as a result of it, you can come here. Choose the gift designation. I don't know why I can't show you the actual drop down menu here, but change this to film and television, donate any amount, fill it out, and it is a tax deductible donation. So that's pretty lit.
We have a fund, there's a fund that you can donate to that will support other workers who are affected by the strike.
Sorry, I'm just so distracted by Hassan just enjoying this burrito or whatever behind him.
There's a fund that you can donate to that will support other workers who are affected by the strike. Crew members, actors, people like that. So what you can do is go to the Entertainment Community Fund. I think it's just entertainmentcommunityfund.org. You can Google it or Bing it or whatever the fuck you like. And then click donate, and then go down to where it says film and television. You can choose what you want to donate it to. Make sure that you select film and television, because those are the folks who are affected here. And that is a material way that you can help this effort, because your money is going to go to help people who are on hard times in the entertainment industry generally, but especially people who are being affected by the strike. Because even though, we're taking it on for ourselves, we know it affects other people, so we raise money because we support each other in the labor movement.
Hell to the yeah. One of the biggest sort of pillars of my beliefs. I want y'all to know who I am and what my ethics are and what I'm about. I support the motherfucking labor movement, y'all.